Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. On February 8th, Japan held the general election for its members in the lower house of the Congress, namely the House of the Councilors or House of the Commons. And the LDP party, the Liberal Democratic Party, led by Sanai Takahashi, the Prime Minister, won a landslide victory. The victory not only consolidates Takahashi's regime, but also breaks many records in Japan's history of elections after World War II. And here we have some important observations about it. First of all, the LDP party won a landslide majority of 316 seats out of a total of 465 seats, which is 68% of the total seat, and 83 more seats than a simple majority. The simple majority is 236. She's got 83 seats more. And secondly, this is a historical record for the LDP. The LDP was established in 1955, and this is the best voting record for the LDP in the House of the Commons or in the House of the Councilors. And this 316 seats also means that the LDP party has the constitutional initiative. In Japan's constitution, it requires a 2/3 majority to amend the constitution, which is 310 seats out of a total of 465 seats. Now that the LDP has 316 seats, means it can do it all by itself. Of course, that doesn't mean that the Prime Minister Takahashi will start the amendment of the Constitution right away, but well, since this is kind of a complicated question, we'll bring that up when the question comes. Thirdly, let's make a quick comparison between the ruling coalition and the opposition coalition. We just mentioned that the LDP has won 316 seats in the lower chamber, and its major ally, the Japan Innovation Party, has won 36 seats. So altogether, they have 352 seats out of 465 seats in the lower house. So that means they have secured a 3/4 supermajority in the lower chamber. That means they can almost do anything as they want in the lower chamber. And in contrast, the opposition party has lost disastrously. They had a total of 165 seats prior to the election, but they lost altogether about 54 seats, about 1/3 of their total seats. So their seats dropped to 113 seats altogether. So that's a very weak opposition. That means it would be very difficult for the opposition party to stop the ruling coalition to pass their bills or acts or anything. In addition to the fact that Takahashi being the successor of the late Prime Minister Abe Shinzo, there are several reasons count for her success. The first one being her major opposition, major platform. She's a strong advocate for Japan comes first, just like Trump. United States comes first. And she's been a strong advocate of a strong Japan and strong army, strong military, and strong economy. That means she wants to renovate Japan from top to bottom. So she's been saying things like Japanese islands being #1 or will become #1 and things like that. And that appeals very much to the younger generation, to the young voters, especially those who just came to the age of being legitimate voters this time. So that's very important, and that's the first reason for it. And the second reason may go beyond most people's imagination. That is, the pressure from Beijing has contributed much to her success in this election. In recent years, Beijing has been bullying Japan verbally, economically, and militarily. And Takahashi fought back with a very firm stand, which has won her much support in the Japanese population, especially in the younger generations, as I mentioned. You remember the remark she made in November 2025, when she responded to the question like a contingency in Taiwan is a contingency for Japan, which invited very strong criticism from Beijing, and then she fought back firmly. And that, again, like I said, won her much support, which contributed much to her victory this time. And the third unexpected factor is the visit by Mr. C.C. Wei the president of the TSMC, on February the 5th, 3 days prior to the election day for Japan. Mr. Wade visited Japan and was welcomed and received by Takahashi, and they had a very good conversation. And President Wade announced on the site he was going to invest more in the Kumamoto facilities and to produce more 3.0 nanometer chips, which is a big news and which is a gigantic support for Takahashi's election. So like I said, that's an unexpected factor contributing to the thing. And lastly, let's not forget Takahashi's personal charm. She's a woman. She's warm, amiable, but unwavering. And most importantly, I think that she has a very good sense of direction of where Japan should go from here, and which appeals much to the younger generation and to the younger voters, especially those who just came to the legitimate voting age for this time. And that's very appealing to them. So what does it mean for Japan's policy in the years to come? First is the interest rate for Japan. Takahashi has been strongly opposed an increase in interest rate before time. So it is generally expected that the low interest rate will be maintained in Japan for quite some time. Secondly, for the exchange rate for Japanese yen, and the markets generally expect Japan to maintain an ultra-easy financial or monetary environment, which leaves the Japanese yen vulnerable to a new wave of depreciation pressure, and that's something that can be expected. And thirdly, Takahashi pledges a very radical, how should we say, a radical expansion in its financial policy. She's going to put in a total of 135 billion US dollars to stimulate the Japanese economy, which is a big thing. And she also wants to reduce the so-called food consumption tax to nearly zero within 2 years, which is kind of radical. But it's much welcomed by the general public in Japan, and that's for sure. But this kind of debt policy, Japan, to this scale, may stimulate Japan's economy in short term, but in the long run, people may be concerned about the financial stability of Japan. And as for the constitutional amendments, although the LDP has reached the level, the threshold of amending the Constitution all by itself, but since it's kind of a complicated process, so we do not expect the amendment to come in next 1 or 2 years, maybe a little bit later than that. That's something that can be expected only after Takahashi thinks that the Japan's economy has strong enough to support her even more radical amendments or reforms in other areas, such as the constitutional amendments or rearmament in a larger scale and things like that. So what about Japan's foreign policy? With this kind of massive support for Takahashi, I think it's safe to expect that she'll be much more assertive in dealing with foreign countries. For instance, she'll be much more closer to the United States and form a stronger alliance between the two countries. And she'll cooperate much more with Taiwan in terms of economic and trade, security issues, and semiconductor industries, and things like that. And to Beijing, we would expect her to adopt a more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but much more confident posture toward Beijing, and much more powerful, but avoid unnecessary confrontation between the two countries. So overall, since that Takahashi enjoys such a massive support in the election, she'll be much more bolder and confident in promoting or pushing forward for reform policies in areas like domestic politics, economy and trade, foreign policy, security issues, and things like that. So it will bring about a much bigger impact for Japan domestically and for the area in general, or even for global politics. but that's something that we have to watch in the future. Well, this is only a preliminary analysis for Takahashi's victory and the significance for the policies to come. There's much more to come in the future. So let's just stop here for today, and I hope you like it. Please share it with your friends, and please subscribe to it if you haven't done so. And do remember to click the icon bell. And that's all for today. I'll see you next time.